Ooh, we had role reversal. I don't want to be Stu. Well, maybe I want to do Stu. Stu's a good-looking dude with, cool awards, and maybe I will be Stu today. I'll be Stu today. You can be Jim. All right, let's play the game, Stu. If you were Jim, what would you say?
I would say, hey, everybody, we are live and we're doing the content. Crap. We are doing the CopyAndContent.AI report. It's right there in front of me. I can't believe I even messed that up.
What's on tap for us today, Jim? What are we doing?
We are doing another after action report. As you remember last week, Jim created the 2-hour Avatar Challenge, and he asked me to do the kind of after action report as a team. And we filmed it and made it part of the podcast. Today, we have something extra special for you because we have now personalized it for the actual Avatar Challenge after action report. And guess what? We used the GENIE acronym GENIE to create a new after action report sequence that we're going to do, because I will be honest with you, the Navy SEAL after action report paralleled to a 2-hour Avatar Challenge was a little bit of a stretch, and this one will be a little more specific to exactly the process that we need to go through just to make those 2-hour Avatar challenges even better. And I can tell you a big difference between the first one and the second one. And I think that after action report really helped us focus on a couple of issues throughout the 2-hour challenge that made it a lot better the second go around.
So in our role reversal, that was really good, Jim. And
Thank
I
you.
can just tell you from this side, Jim talks a lot. I need to let other people talk more.
Yes, I was trying to do my best, Jim.
No, that was really good.
I was just sitting over there doing nothing.
All right,
you did a good job playing me, because that's just all I do. I just sit and listen.
Okay, but that's good.
No,
That shows. All right,
we're all here to learn from you, Jim. So
I hear you. Okay, well, I'm back as Jim. I don't feel nearly as strong and buff, I can tell you. I felt a lot stronger and buffer over on the other side. So one of the things that we're going to do, we're going to bring the team in here in just a minute, but I thought we'd share with y'all real quick the formula that we're going to be using for this to do the evaluation. And we came up with this from adapting what Stu did with us last time with the Navy SEAL evaluation thing. And so we, of course, we came up with the acronym of GENIE because, it's kind of a theme.
It's a great theme.
Yeah. So we're dividing these up into phases of doing the project. And I agree with Stu 100%. We'll hear from the team in just a sec about how it seemed to go a lot better. So phase one is gear up. That's what getting ready to do whatever the project was. The E is execute. So doing it, doing the actual thing. Then phase three is notice. Notice what happened. Then phase four is to improve. How can we improve what happened? And then phase five is to evaluate, which is how do we use this moving forward? So I think it would be good to bring in the rest of the gang, and then Stu, have you kind of run it like you did last time with what happened and how we could make it.
I
want to
facilitate the phases.
Can I share one thing real quick? And I thank Renee on YouTube for sharing this. Renee said, "Great Avatar Challenge yesterday. I completed 4 new avatars. I also watched the training 5 times now. Great content." Renee gets a gold star.
Dang. It's good
That
stuff.
is awesome. So super proud of you. That's awesome. And Sedora said, I got an amazing full avatar done in 4 hours. That's amazing. Good for you.
Oh
That's
man, the
great.
big one.
The big, the big one.
The big one.
So
Not the junior, the Avatar senior.
I ate the whole Whopper, not just the little one. That's awesome. Okay, so kind of walk us through this, Stu.
All right. So just like last time, let's discuss just the introduction phase of this process. Like, what all did we do prior to getting started? Um, the back end as well as the front end. So I don't care who starts. Joe.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
instead of me being the hog, I'd like to get Nancy and Susan's perspective on what they saw the second time around, because sometimes my nose is so far in it. You know, the getting ready phase. What did we do differently and better this time?
I think the getting ready phase, this time we had more time to tell more people we were doing it. It all still ran down to, like, I got that email out later Friday than I wanted to, but we got it out, and then we were able to kind of let people know, hey, this is going to be happening.
Right. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. It's not one here. I'll just make us all equals. We're all equal here. Yes, we didn't get the first email out until the Friday night before, which in marketing circles would be considered a sin against, chickens and humanity and everything else. But the other thing to consider is that in any event that we've ever done, half of the signups come like within the last 24 hours. So all we did is just depend a little bit more on the back half of the process. Plus, I think because we had done the one previously, people already kind of had it. I mean, heck, half the people probably thought this was the one we talked about 2 weeks before, and it was.
Well, and we didn't sell it before. Before we weren't selling. We were like, hey, you're already in CopyAndContent.AI. We're doing this. Come join us.
Right.
This time we opened it up and said, hey, if you have an avatar or you need an avatar and using any of our software, come take this challenge with us and try out CopyAndContent.AI for 7 days, or a few of the genies for 7 days.
I do think that if we had played it up on social media just a little bit more, that, because I think a lot of people, like you said, the signups, they kind of were coming because what time we decided to do the emails and stuff. But I think that for the next one, I'd like to post some more on social, like a week leading up to it.
Okay. So that should go for, I agree 100%. Let's talk about that in the, I don't know whether that's phase 4. That's the I.
Yes.
I do want to say just real quick, Nancy, could you reach out to Renee? Because she also says, I'm proud of myself too. This workshop type training worked well for me. Could you reach out to her, please, and see if we could get her, use those comments as a testimonial?
Yes.
Because that's tremendous. And the same thing with Sidra as well. So I think also for the getting ready, what else do you ladies have to say for the getting ready part?
Being able to get the copy and stuff pulled together a day or more ahead and not at the last minute. I mean, I was working till 7 o'clock Friday night, getting everything pulled together. And that's why the email went out late.
Yeah.
Right. But so is that part of the getting ready, or is that part of the improvement for later?
I would say that's part of getting ready, because you're going to want to review that, in these notes.
Yeah.
In that phase is definitely part of phase 1. Another part of phase 1 too is just pure hardware equipment. You have a lot of different hardware issues that you have to go through to make this show happen, from audio to video to that screen you're writing on.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
I do it so much now that it's just getting it done. I actually was ready 15 minutes ahead of time instead of 15 seconds ahead of time. I think having one of the things that made the biggest difference, and I think the ladies will back me up on this, was I did something I used to do all the time when we did teleseminars and even webinars, and then I haven't done it in a while. But I actually had a 2-page syllabus of what was going to happen over that 2 hours in 5-minute increments.
Perfect.
And at any given time, unless I'm wrong, we were within 2 minutes of that timeline until it kind of fell apart at the end a little bit with testimonials and other stuff like that, simply because I didn't have that as organized as the rest. That was kind of like where you could see where the planning fell apart a little bit, as far as, you know, that one little part had no timelines next to it, and it just had like 3 words, and I just was expecting it to happen. That's my fault.
You know what, though? I will tell you this, as you know, as part of that show that didn't expect it to go that route, I thought the added sales letter, the added Facebook ad, you know, all those little things that you added on there on that back end to show that, you know, you took my avatar and within 5 minutes you got the sales letter done and the Facebook ad done, or yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was really sharply done, even though it wasn't planned.
No, that was planned. That was absolutely planned. That was planned down to the minute. What wasn't planned was where I had on here part 4, the end, social proof, testimonials, people we have coming.
Oh,
no names. We had nothing. I didn't reach out to them ahead of time. It wasn't, that part wasn't done well. Everything that was on here that had a time and a specific thing that needed to be done got done, and got done when it was supposed to be.
I think it was good. I mean, and you hit that 2-hour limit right there, you know, with that section.
Right. And I think the other thing that we did
maybe
that
a few
worked,
things fell off of that to-do list, but I think those are minimal, and maybe even we need to ask, do they even belong in future shows? The part that you missed down at the bottom.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think, you know, do we need it? Maybe at that point we don't. It depends on whether it's a promo thing or a paid thing, a member only thing or another thing. But the other thing we did that I think really helped was the pre-work. We had a handout ahead of time. We had the stuff organized. People knew where they were supposed to be. Everything was all done on that dashboard. I think that made a big difference. Would you agree, Susan and Nancy? No?
There was still some, yeah.
But we fell apart with, I think, some of, we didn't put it in the messages. I think we sent to the elite and the premium.
Yeah, because we still had a lot of people
didn't catch it either.
Asking links and different things. I think that if more people had their eyes on it, we would have had less questions like that.
So we should have promoted the dashboard more?
Yeah, I should have added more links to that in the emails and put in there, hey, there's this pre-work that will help you for it.
Right. Okay. But I think
hey, a real quick question to the group, not you guys, because we've already discussed it, but did anybody notice the spelling errors in your video?
Actually,
wow.
Just wonder if you heard
in the chat.
Saltworthy and tailor-made were misspelled.
Yeah, we need to reach out to our guy and ask him to fix those. Could you do that, Nancy?
Yes.
Tell him about the 2 typos, please. You don't have to do it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the gear up and get ready thing. I think the gear up and get ready thing, we were more prepared and we could have been even more prepared. So I think that comes from doing it too. So the biggest thing was we did it the first time, learned some stuff. Second time we were quote unquote doing it on purpose. Third time we do this, we're going to be deadly with this whole thing. But I do like promote the dashboard more and really just keep hammering that in all of the messages we send to people. I think is a good one. All right, so we ready to move on to phase 2 with execute? I think we've covered.
Execute.
We've covered a bunch of this stuff.
Yeah, getting it started.
So getting it done.
Well,
the
first thing is
actual
this.
doing it.
First thing when we talk about execute, we're talking about, was it on time?
Okay.
Right.
Yes, it was on time. Absolutely. I give us an
Actually,
A.
I gave him a hard time because I didn't think he would be.
Who, me?
Right. How
Yeah.
about the time to
Oh, yeah, I
build
would like to address that. I would
the
like to
avatars?
address that. No. I would like to address that.
You and Dexter stayed on time. So when you and Stu got together, y'all got kind of off time.
I had some extra time though from Dexter. I had to build in the fudge time because I knew Stu,
Yeah,
I'm a bit loquacious.
Yeah, his locutions, he paid good money for those, and so did taxpayers for his 4 years of public education. But the thing is though, before I did that, I thought to myself, okay, how long do I want it to take and how long is it really going to take? And I actually expanded those things out before I sent that off. So I had Susan in my head about, trying to but being realistic about how long it was going to take and being on time. And that's, I think we can apply that to the actual execution of the thing, being on time, A+. My part for being on time for the sales copy and the content and all that stuff is a B. I give Susan and Nancy A+ for getting the stuff done once they had it. So that's I was the bottleneck there, and I admit that. So anyway, keep going, Stu.
How about finishing on time?
I think, again, the part that we had really, really well planned out, we finished on time. And I told them we were going to do the bonusy part at the end, with doing a full avatar. And again, that part wasn't as well planned, and I kind of muffed it a little bit. I recovered, but as far as the main body of the thing, I mean, we ended within 2 minutes of 4
That's
o'clock.
what I thought. Now, how about this? Was it enough time to do the avatars for the people watching?
Well,
Did we get some good feedback on some of that, the 20-minute block?
let's see.
I mean, it seemed to be a better deal. I think last
here's
week
a customer. Here's a customer. The time blocks you made available were super helpful. Each time I watched the replay, I used the time block to get my work completed. So I think by even asking the question, we did better. And by giving them 20 minutes instead of 15 minutes, like on the first one we did, that was a result of customer.
Yep.
And ladies, you all were paying better attention to the chat and everything else. Did it seem like that was enough time and that people were actually getting avatars done in real time on the challenge?
Yeah.
Absolutely. For the folks that were following along, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's another one on the execution part.
What'd you say? Hang on one sec. What'd you say, Susan?
Yeah.
It felt less stressed out, how it seemed in the chat this time versus last.
Okay. Yeah, I felt that too. And it was also less stressful for me because I felt like, because that allowed me to see what was going on. I could respond to questions that felt like they needed to be responded to right then while people were doing their stuff. So I thought that was all around. I thought that was much better. Go ahead, Stu.
Another one too. I don't know. Was anybody confused in the audience about the DISC section, DISC personality traits? Because I don't know if we thoroughly discussed that to explain what that actually is, or did we? And I wasn't paying attention.
We didn't have any comments in the chat about people that were confused, but.
So one of the reasons why I chose the topic with Dexter of talking about DISC was to make people familiar with it if they had never heard of it. So then it was a nice transition to say, hey, by the way, you can do a quickie DISC communication analysis of your avatar. That's why I consciously chose that topic, as opposed to last time. The first time I did it was like, let's just make something up. Hey, let's do discount cruise. Where did that even come from? Discount cruise. Let's ask Dexter about something he knows nothing about. about, who knows? So that actually was done on purpose to try and kill 5 birds with 1 stone.
The first time with that cruise came because of the fact that you had it on the brain because y'all booked one.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Anything else on the show in itself?
The doing it. How did you ladies feel that was going in the back end for the customers with how was the load on the chat and the communication and stuff and people being able to ask questions or that kind of stuff? What was that like, the doing it?
It didn't seem as hectic as it did the first time. I think people had a better understanding of what was going on. We had some people that were confused and they reached out and we tried to help, and we were putting the links. When y'all started demonstrating the genies, I would put the links in and Nancy put the links in when I had to leave for people to know which ones we were at. And even then, some people missed them. I had to tell one person we've been putting the links in the chat.
Yeah, there were some people that just in the very beginning, I think you took off so fast because you were trying to be conscious of that time that there was some confusion for folks.
Time to go!
Hey, can you tell us what genie you're going to? Which screen you're going back and forth through? So like,
and then they weren't looking in the chat to see that we have been, hey, they're using this specific genie right now.
Right. Yeah. And there was actually one comment that said, can you tell us which genie you're going to, or when you're copying from one and pasting into another so that we can follow along easier? So I think that if you were to start out just a little more easing into it for the new folks.
Yeah.
That would be.
And explain which genies. Yes. Yeah. Like it was. Yes, I agree 100%. That at the start, I just start just a little bit slower. But I was so paranoid about staying on that timeline. It's like, okay, I just played that demo, time to go. Let's do this. And
Imani has a suggestion, like, hey, have the quotes down at the bottom of the screen, maybe like pop up the name of the genie and pop up maybe a link. Now, granted, they can't click on the link and somebody will complain about that, but we'll drop the link in the chat and we'll roll from there.
Yeah, or could have the name of the genie link in chat. Or, what I could have done, and I sort of did it, but was, okay, just to review, here's your thing, and maybe even have the links and stuff on the
I would drop them in there multiple times because I do know it scrolls up fast and goes quick. So I had it pasted in a text file, so I'm just copying and pasting and dropping it in.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to get people to see it.
Yeah, but at the start, if I just said, okay, this is what we're going to do. Get your stuff out. This is what we're doing. You should have the one-word Avatar Detective Genie open in one tab, and you should have Avatar Junior open in another tab. Okay, this is what you need to have ready and open in order to participate right now. So,
yeah, I think maybe even creating a little checklist before the 20-minute timeline goes. So just to refresh, you say, yeah, both tabs open, go to the dashboard and, start putting in your one word and all that, right? So you kind of have a step-by-step thing that just pops up. They can see it. And while you're counting the clock, it has that to-do list on the actual page.
Well, that's probably what we should have done. We probably should have gone to the dashboard and said, hey, if you haven't grabbed the handout, here is the handout we're going to be following.
Right.
It's like maybe the first intro step.
But I'd noticed that the handout.
Hadn't seen the PDF before. We're like, oh, there's PDF. I can grab this.
Right. I noticed, though, that the handout, all of the links went to the dashboard. None of them went to individual genies. And that was how I was going to do it. That was a screw up on my part for not getting that taken care of. But I originally had intended to use the handout, but I didn't double check that the handout did that. And so when I started clicking the links, they were all going to the dashboard. So I said, okay, look, we'll just operate off of the dashboard. So next time we know when we have that. So we were almost there. We had the checklist, but every one of those links went to the dashboard instead of to the individual genies. So not a biggie, but that I agree with you.
I did have all on the dashboard, all the other links below too, just as a backup, because I missed that. I didn't realize I did that, but I just had them there anyway.
It's fine. We're good.
I think the handout was super helpful. But I think with that clock going, you know, when it's just sitting there, if you had a, you know, like checklist of boom, 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 boom of what you need to do during this 20 minutes, it might just remind people where to go, what to do,
How to stay on track.
and how to stay on track. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of just going to egg timer and having egg timer play, we could have a slide that had a timer running on it, and it had a checklist of what genies you're using and what you're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that.
But actually, that would be handy to use on the workshop too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that would be. Are you talking on the Thursday workshop?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree. That'd be super helpful if I planned that stuff out in advance and knew more than 5 minutes prior to the actual workshop
Well, you
what
know
we
what
were
the
actually going to be
beautiful-
doing.
I can kind of come in on the backside, and now I can just put one in there, override you.
There
So
you go.
one of the things that we got to do though is get here's just fun
Admin.
facts about PowerPoint.
Yeah.
PowerPoint does not do well with having a timer in it. So the way around that is to just have a literal video of a clock or video of a countdown where it's a 5-minute countdown of a video. So you go to something like egg timer and you say, okay, this is going to be 10 minutes. You literally take a screen capture video of the 10-minute clock counting down, and then you just play that in the PowerPoint slide deck. That's how you just, as an aside, that's how you do
Great.
it.
Another cheat, why not have like the egg timer, because you're using your screen, why not have at the top of your screen the egg timer, at the bottom of the screen the PowerPoint, and not even have to worry about filming it in advance. I mean, yeah, you're going to have the bar in between, but
Yeah, but you can't do a PowerPoint. You can't do the presentation button.
you don't do the presentation button. You don't need to make a presentation. You're not moving forward. You're not going back. You're just on one screen.
Yeah, but then you have all the extra crap in PowerPoint around the slide.
Right.
All right, we can figure out
So
that stuff
anyway,
later.
we'll figure it out mechanically. Okay. What else did we notice just real quick that could have been more, what else happened that was good? Everybody say one thing that happened that was good and one thing that happened that could be improved. Let's focus on some wins too, because we won more than we lost.
Yes.
I'll start. We stayed on time and a lot of people got their stuff done, and I was really happy with that.
Yeah, once people started saying I got my avatar done, I was like, damn, it worked.
Yeah.
One of the things that I loved about this one is that we've already talked about this, was the organization that we had. Like, you actually having your list and following it not only kept you on track, it may have sped you up a little in the beginning, but it kept you on track and you stayed on track. So I think that was super helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say this too, with the, noticing what happened, is there was no dead time in there, right? Everything looked like it had a purpose. Every minute that you had in that show had a purpose.
It's also nice to have that too, because the fact your internet was acting up, so I was a little concerned that we were going to lose you, but I knew kind of where you were going. So if need be, I could have stepped in to kind of try to carry things until you came back.
That's good backup. We need contingencies like that. I
Yeah.
think having that that worksheet can definitely allow somebody to move on if somebody had to reboot their computer real quick or something.
Right. Better communication. The much better communication. Everybody knew where we were and what was going on. And I thought that was really good. My one thing that I noticed that maybe could have gone a little bit better was having that, doing even better with the social proof type stuff with the stuff at the end where it got messed up. Social proof of either bringing somebody on and say, how did it go, building in the time for that so it wasn't an afterthought. That was my biggie.
Yeah, I'll agree with that one, especially from the standpoint of editing video.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then that way we won't have to edit and I can get it up faster.
Yep. Anything
That's
else?
good. Are we moving on to improve?
We can, sure. Because that's kind of a, should have
We've kind
done
of
that
been
one and improve.
mentioning it several times. How about this? And this is just something I'm throwing to the group here. As much effort as you put into announcing the Avatar Challenge, right, with social media as well as newsletter to your email list, what about on the back end of it, sharing some of the feedback that we got from the actual show to that same list, letting people know what they kind of missed?
So I'm writing this down. I use feedback as part of the follow-up. I think that's a great idea, but we got to, if we're going to use names, we got to get permission. So that kind of slows it down. That's why I asked.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be names. It can just be, this many people created their avatars today in less than 30 minutes.
I gotcha.
Right. Just the results show. Just like we say, hey, here's the show. Here's the show. I think one thing that I do as a business guy not so well is that secondary follow-up. Like I get everybody fired up for a live Q&A or some other training cycle, but then I don't really follow it up with here's the results of what happened if you missed it.
Yeah, it's Monday and I'm on to the next thing. I'm not
Exactly.
living in the past kind of thing.
But it can be helpful for like, hey, I don't want to miss this next one. That seemed pretty useful.
I think where we are right now, where this is very useful, is in the 7-day follow-up period, because we had people joining us to create their avatar because they're in other software. They might be in funnel scripts, traffic secret scripts, author wizards, or any of the stuff we have out there. And they can use their avatar in any of that software. But now they also have access to the short sales letter GENIE, the Facebook ad GENIE, the email teaser GENIE, and the value ladder GENIE. So some pretty powerful GENIEs, as well as they have the same level of wishes for a week that people have at the elite level. And so in our follow-up, I want to get those people to join CopyAndContent.AI. Okay, smart decision, best decision they could ever make. So I think that I never even thought about this as one of the follow-ups, but absolutely this is going to be one of the follow-ups. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it could be as simple as an article, Jim, with a little video segment of it for a few minutes,
I think also that one of the things we're planning on doing is demos and extended walkthroughs. So, hey, let me show you, now that you got your avatar done, look at this. If you had this avatar done with absolutely nothing other than having access to this, you'd be able to create this and this and this and this and this, and show them all this stuff, the cool stuff that they can do. And so there's going to be a lot of demos and walkthroughs and stuff is the plan.
I like it.
I do like this. And I think the other thing that we need to do is incorporate user demos. So like we've got one that Anza sent us where in 5 minutes she wrote her 10-page sales letter and gave us a video of that. It's one thing for me to do it. It's another thing to show users doing it.
That's huge. Yeah.
How about Nancy and Susan, do you have any thoughts or ideas as far as that follow-up or the follow-up improving what we do in that area over the next week?
I think that's going to be crucial. I mean, it's just a matter of getting everything set up. The sooner I have that content.
I know. Yes, we're on that. I'm almost done editing the article of the week tomorrow. So then I'll be moving on to those videos.
David brings up something. He thought that the Facebook ads might be a confusing add-on. Many who are developing their avatar may not have a product. Therefore, talking about paid advertisement might be a big jump.
Yeah, I agree. I was trying to just show the breadth of stuff that the software could do, and also something that was just like immediately cool. Like once this avatar is done, you got to do nothing else but load the avatar and bam, you can do this.
Plus, we're hitting people that some are doing that, and yes, some aren't. But we're hitting a range of people. You can always take those Facebook ads and just use them as social media content to see what happens on your social media feed. Yes. You don't have to do paid stuff with it yet.
Yeah.
And I recommend doing that anyways, to test an ad before you actually use it, because the best way to know if it's going to hit your market is to test it with your people. So
yeah, what's the difference, Nancy? You post all our social media stuff. What's the difference between a post and an ad?
Yeah, pretty much.
Whether you spent money on it or not.
Hey, that's the way it works. Hey, Sidra had a great idea. Is if at the end of the 20-minute block of training, you just said to the group, take a minute and give us some feedback in the chat on how you did.
I think we tried to do that, but it was kind of grab-bastic.
Okay.
From the standpoint of I was trying to answer questions and some other stuff, but I think Sidra's right that we could have. I think the second time we did it a little bit better. One of the times it was like, hey, are you getting your avatar done? Are you getting it? That kind of thing.
Well, okay. I don't think it needs to be something that you're waiting on to discuss. It can just be say, hey, send in your feedback, and you just continue on with the show. Right. It doesn't necessarily have to be something you're waiting on for the show to continue.
And then she said at the end of the event too, that yes, at the end of the event, and with full transparency, yes, at the end of the event, I should have done that, but I was more focused on doing the pitch.
Well, yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. How did the call to action go?
I don't know yet because I haven't talked to Susan about numbers.
Oh, well, we don't have to talk about numbers. I was just wondering, how did you feel it went?
I felt like that the way I did the call to action based on the way that we've done stuff in the past. In the past, it's been, hey, let me give you this big, long half-hour stack. And I think regardless of what anybody says, people are getting sick and tired of that. And and in a situation like this, where everybody they'd already seen the thing work, it wasn't necessary to beat the crap out of them. And so I think, and from also practicing this in the hallways of John Maxwell IMC, that using the approach that we used, and for those that missed it, I'll do it real quick. But after you've seen the thing work and you're excited about how something is working, if this is the extent of the entire thing, I think it's more effective just to say, hey, if you like this, we're good to go. Because like this is exactly what I did. AI is the future of sales copy and content creation. It's here. Don't get left behind. I'm going to help you unleash the power of AI to quickly and easily create the sales copy and content you need in your business. We use smart genies and wizards instead of dumb chatbots and AI robots. Got a special offer for you. You're going to get access to 50+ genies. You've seen half a dozen of them work. You're going to also get access to wizards. It's going to help you create all the emails, sales letters, opt-in pages, blog posts, articles, ads, video scripts, speeches, training, and more that you need to succeed. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. And we also include weekly workshops, masterclasses, avatar training, even more than this. We got the Vault, Friday newsletter, fast tracks, workbooks, recipes. I mean, if you're ready to put AI to work in your business, we got it for you. And this is going to enable you to start creating the unique custom sales copy and amazing content that you need fast. Upgrade to the Elite annual plan to get full credit for and this was the special offer, okay? I will give you credit for what you just paid, the price you paid for the workshop if you go here. And that was it. That was it. I mean, I don't think that took 2 minutes, but I was able to do that several times, and people are like, you know what? I got to go check this out. This is just too cool. And so I think the one thing that we could test in the future is that link actually sent them to the main sales page. No, it didn't. It's in the special offer page. You're right. I'm on a full webinar where you do the big long stack. You pretty much just send them to a cart page that just says, you know, you're getting this, and this. So this was kind of a hybrid between it. It wasn't the whole sales letter, but it also was more than just a cart page. And that seems to be working well. We need to test a little bit more, I'm sure, but I just didn't feel like we needed to do the big long pitch. So, and I don't think anybody was offended, even though it was a paid event. I don't think anybody was offended by me doing that, even though I did that like 3 or 4 times, but it was so quick. Nope. I mean, did anybody complain in the chat? Like, oh, you're pitching me.
No, and I'll be honest with you, normally when you start a pitch, like the numbers tank quick. You know, people start getting off, but I didn't really see where a bunch of people were jumping ship either. So
yeah, cool.
I would say it went well.
Okay, let's do evaluate. The last part of GENIE.
Moving forward as a team. So what do we need to know now? So my advice on this one is let's try to create a little to-do list for each of us before the show, during the show, after the show. Right?
Okay.
So kind of, I like to use the term evaluate as like, here's what I need to do as a team to make this work.
I think the number one thing is just have everything ready sooner.
How much sooner?
I would say at least a week sooner than we did. And I was the backlog on that. Everybody was waiting on me. Now we can do it sooner next time simply because we have the guts done. So that was part of it is doing something from scratch and then putting a timeline on it. But again, we put the deadline on, it got done. It wasn't perfect, but done. You know, done is a lot better than perfect and never done. So, you know, ready sooner during the event, you know, just minor adjustments, but I think we've got the drill down. You know, the adjustments we've talked about like checklist and time. I love the timer thing. That's a great idea. And timer with the checklist and all that stuff on it.
And having people actually go to the dashboard, have the dashboard all set and ready, you know, opening the handout, you know, just a little bit of pre-show work during the beginning of the show.
Right. And quite frankly, what you could pre-show, I mean, what I was just going to say right then, you know, what if we came on 5 minutes early and said, hey, kind of like warming up the crowd, show up 5 minutes early and we're going to get you set. Okay, so 5 minutes before the show is like, okay, this is what when we get started at the top of the hour, this is what I want you to have open. This is what I want you to do. And instead of
discussing the layout with them before we actually do it to prepare them. Yeah.
You could actually do that a couple, 3 times, almost like they warm up people in the studio audience. Okay, when I come out and do this, then you applaud. And that kind of no, I mean
that's good.
You just tell them. I like that idea. Play with the pre-show idea. And then for me, as far as after, again, have stuff ready beforehand instead of, you know, scrambling now to, now I got to get the stuff and I got to get Susan. Susan's got other stuff. And it's just, it feels manic. It's kind of what we have always done, but maybe we don't have to keep doing that. So those are my thoughts. Anybody else?
No, I think that's awesome.
Nancy,
I think
Susan?
that the before for me on my end is going to be having more images loaded into social to be able to kind of get the word out a little sooner on social, to start driving more interest to it before.
Okay. What about you, Susan? What do you think? Anything else?
No, I think about covers it.
Okay.
I mean,
Cool.
I'm at the bottom of the chain, so once everything comes together, I'm the one that's putting everything together. So it is what it is.
So if you could, that's a nice way of saying, if you would get me the stuff sooner, Jim, I would have it done sooner, and things would go smoother, and I'd be happier with you. And
Yeah, but that's not how it's. I mean, that's just you see other things. You're like, oh, look over there, that's awesome. I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm coming back to that.
I love you.
You
There we
get
go.
interested in other things, and you take off in that direction. And then you're like, oh yeah, I got to do that.
Yes. Okay. This is getting a little too real for people. You can tell. I mean, this is literally what happens. This is how it works. And I agree. But by being conscious of it and being aware of it, I'm doing better. You know, I'm
That's
getting
what
the
these
stuff
things are for,
better
Jim.
and being aware of it and stuff. So we're in good shape.
That's
Okay.
what the GENIE After Action Report is all about.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that was very helpful. We got some other cool insight out of this, so I'm excited about that for pre-show stuff and during the thing, and just keeping it rolling and rocking and stuff. The better we get, the better results you all are going to get. So, were there any comments or anything looking at that we should, any questions or anything anybody had?
My comments
should
are to
address?
you guys that are listening, consider the GENIE After Action Report model. You can come up with your own acronym, but you know, think about all of your business events and product launches, all those things, and actually assess. You know, because if you're not assessing like this, you're just guessing. And I think that is very important in everything we do, you know, from fitness to business.
It sounds like a poster. If you're not assessing, you're guessing.
I say that all the time, especially to my spec ops candidates.
And if it's not on the list,
It doesn't exist.
it doesn't exist. So I will say this, and then I'll let Susan and Nancy do their thing. This has been this 2 weeks from one to the next, this one iteration to another, has been the fastest and we've ever improved something in that short period of time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it was exponentially better. I mean, I thought the first one was fine, but I think the second one was great.
So,
yeah.
What do you ladies think?
No,
I agree too.
Okay.
I also agree with Bonnie. Sorry. I think before we move to the next training, you're going to need to restart your computer.
Who, me?
Yeah, your video is choppy.
I think that's the internet. I can see the little thing that says like should be 3 bars and it's got 1. I'm not sure what I can do. I'll go I'll restart my router. Okay. Appreciate y'all very much. And we will talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.